Hey, what's up? Coach Jesse Minshew with Get Handles Basketball. I'm gonna show you how to break a double team or a trap. Before we get into the video, make sure you click that like button, click that subscribe button, and get on that notification squad. And if there's anything else you want to improve your game in, make sure you check out my channel. I probably got a video on it already, but if I don't, leave me a comment down below and I'll try to get you a video ASAP. Okay, tip number one is the one that your coach probably has told you, and maybe your parents even, and it's if you're double teamed, there's somebody open, try to hit the open teammate. But if you can break that double team and you get through these defenders or get around them, now you have a huge advantage, right? Because you're open and a teammate's open. Normally what I'm gonna tell you, first of all, make sure you keep moving. Because if I stand still here and keep dribbling in one spot, what's gonna happen is these guys are gonna come and they're gonna surround me and I'm gonna have a really hard time getting past them. I'm gonna get pressured, I might freak out, right? Before that happens, keep yourself, not the basketball, your body moving, right? Shifting around. That's the first tip. That's huge. If that first tip helped you, make sure you hit that like button. Second tip, I'm gonna try to figure out which of the two defenders is the weaker one. So if green guy here is the weaker defender, I'm gonna try to beat him to the outside. The way you would want to do that, there's a couple different things you can do for it. You can either just sort of try to sidestep to get that angle to step around him, or you could send them both a fake this way so they both shift that way and then you can come back this way, or you could just start to approach directly more towards them because you'll have the option to beat them more easily. But let's talk about a couple other scenarios, maybe trying to break in between the middle of them, or what if they're trying to trap you by the baseline or the sideline. Let's say you need to try to get between them for whatever reason. Maybe there's another defender waiting over here, so even though this is the weak guy, there's really not the space to get around this guy over here. First of all, you could try to beat this guy, but if you feel like they're just too good of a defender, that might not be an option. So the way you would want to set this up again is to keep moving, but you want to use some big movements, okay? So really covering ground on your dribbles, either forward or back, trying to get them to move around at the same time. So they both have to kind of react to it. If I just do this, they'll just kind of move a little bit, right? And they'll be able to stay real close, perfect space from each other. But if I make a big movement, one of them is going to be faster than the other, and one's going to be slower, one's going to have quicker reactions than the other, right? All those little details are going to start to come into play, and they're not going to be able to keep perfect space together, right? One of them will probably end up moving quicker. If I make a big quick movement, maybe this guy moves a little bit quicker because he's the better defender and he reacts more. Now in that situation, maybe that situation I would be able to beat him more easily, right? But if I want to try to more come between the gap, I know he's the better defender, he's probably going to react more quickly to the big movement, right? So in that situation, I'm going to make a big movement in this direction because I know he's more athletic, he's going to cover ground. This guy's a little bit slower, so now what that does is it opens up a huge gap that I can push the ball in between and get through. Now sometimes you'll see guys like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, what they'll do is if there's open space behind these guys, they'll literally just push the ball out and then kind of chase it down. One big dribble where they just push it out and try to get back to it as quick as they can. Now obviously if the defenders are too close to each other, you don't want them to push it through and then they close the gap and now the ball's out here. What you want to be able to do is have a big enough gap that you can still get back to the basketball, but push it out so it frees up your feet to really explode forward to get back to the basketball. One other way you can go about this, trying to split the gap, will be stepping back more, right? This guy's probably gonna bite on it a little bit quicker than this guy if this guy's the worst defender. So then from there, once I've stepped back, I would maybe hit him with a little quick double cross, right? A tight one so this guy can't get to it, and then push it between this gap again. See how those different angles make a difference? If I start with more of a side step and there's more of an angle direct forward, then I'm just gonna push it right away. But if I step back more, then I'm gonna need to do this real quick setup cross, and then this hand is gonna push it through the gap. So little differences in the way you're gonna set it up. But again, the big key is that you make a big movement and take advantage of the one defender being a little bit more athletic, being quicker to react than the other. Okay, before we talk about traps on the sideline or the baseline, let's say you don't know which of the two defenders is better. What are you gonna do? Well, you wanna use your handles to your advantage, get a lot of movement to start to get those reads, to figure that out, figure out how they're reacting and decide, okay, this is the best way to get around them. To do that, you have to have a certain level of ball handling ability. And one of the best ways to get that really quickly is to click the top link in the description down below. That's a free workout I got for you called the Defender Destroyer workout. That'll help you with both destroying an individual defender, but also two defenders. You'll see when you get the workout though, just click that top link and pop in your email. I'll send it to you instantly for free. Coming back to how you would figure that out as far as which of the two, right? Use your handles to your advantage. Make sure you get those handles though so you can deal with them. But from there, again, make sure you're really moving around. So that way you can start to see, okay, this guy doesn't react quite as quick. Or you could say, okay, when I move this way, they're staying really tight with each other. Maybe like when I move, they really try to close this gap because they don't want me coming in between them. Maybe that's the way their coach told them to deal with things. So you'll know that, and now you can say, okay, I know they're gonna come tight. So my best option is to make them think from that, okay, maybe I'm gonna take a big side step here. When they close this gap, I'm gonna make them think I'm gonna come in here, and then I can go around the weaker defender. Start to think that step ahead and get those reads just by taking 2-3 dribbles and getting a bunch of movement in them. You can't be staying in one spot for too long. If you are in one spot and they're closing the gap, you gotta take advantage of their momentum. If they're back here and I'm back here and I'm standing in one spot and I see them starting to close the gap, I've gotta make a quick read. Say, okay, they're coming towards me quick. I got the space to get between here and make that read quick. Or if they're too tight, say, okay, I'm gonna go around them and make that read quick. Or make another quick reaction, whether that's a side step dribble or a step back dribble to create a little more space and a little bit more time. All right, let's talk the last two scenarios. Maybe they're trying to trap you by the sideline or the baseline or in one of the corners, whether that's the corner by the sideline or the baseline or by the half court. In this instance, if I'm trying to just come here and let's say I'm a little further away from half court, it's kind of like there's 3 defenders, right? You got to move around a little bit to get the read on it. And typically what I would say is to try to move away from that sideline so you got more room to work with. You might be able to get a read on this from previous plays. I wouldn't mess around too long in this situation trying to get a read on them though over here. I remember in high school, my coach was hardcore about, I don't ever want you to get beat sideline or baseline because that's like another defender. So they would say, I want your foot right on this line so they can't get around it, right? Some defenders though might get kind of lazy about that or cocky and think like, oh, he's not gonna beat me there. And they won't really completely seal this angle off. And sometimes you can push it around there and sneak around them. Typically though, like I said, I would try to just set up more coming back this way to free myself some more room up and get away from that situation if possible. But if I see they're not doing a good job of sealing that corner and I know I can get around this guy, I'm gonna push it through, absolutely. Just kind of comes back to seeing how they're playing you and making that read quick and knowing your ability that you can get the basketball and your body around them. And sometimes, like I've even had it where the guy would be almost completely on the line or on the sideline and I would still push it out and hop around him to get past him. You want to be a little more careful with that. Typically, again, that's something I would say not to do unless you're 100% sure you have that ability. Same thing would kind of apply with this backcourt, right? You want to move more side. Let's say you're not close to the sideline. You want to come a little more sideways here and try to get past them because you can't be moving back, right? So you have to use more side separation. In that instance, that's pretty much the quick answer right there. Just use more of that side separation. Let's talk when they try to trap you in the corner. First of all, this is one of those situations where, man, you should get rid of the basketball because you're in, again, a situation where you kind of have 4 defenders. You got the half court line, you got this guy, you got this guy, and you got the sideline. Try to find the open teammate. Let's say though, again, in this situation, like they're probably not gonna do, one of these guys isn't gonna be completely covering with his foot all the way to the half court line or to the sideline. So if you can split that gap, try to split it. And don't just go into it looking at it. You want to, all this stuff really, you want to set it up thinking a step ahead and usually giving a fake or making a really quick reaction. So if all of a sudden you see this gap here, you can't look at it, think about it, and then go. That gives your defender time to jump in front of you. You see this opening, either A, just go, or B, give them a little fake this way to make them think you're going to come this way, to maybe either freeze them up or get them to move a little this way and free up more room over here. Or again, it's just about seeing the open space. That's what I usually look for, is like, where's the biggest open space? Right now, as you can see, this guy's pretty close to this sideline. This guy's pretty close to this sideline, but there's this big gap here, right? So I would make this guy maybe think I'm gonna come here and then split the gap. Or again, if I can react quick enough, I might not even need to give that fake. And if I see it and move instantly, I can just bust right through that gap right away. Same thing in the corner down by the baseline though and the sideline. You want to keep all those things in mind as far as, you know, your spacing and your options and your setups. If you found this video helpful, make sure you click that like button for me, click that subscribe button, and if you have anything else in your game that you're looking to improve, make sure you check out my channel. I probably got a video on it. Also check out this video and this playlist, and leave me a comment down below if there's something that I haven't covered on my channel yet. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more, and make moves today.